Ain't this something? Can you imagine? That is crazy. Could you imagine? Like, for real, for real. Could you imagine? Like, this is crazy. Wow. This is crazy. And then look what it says. Look what it says. Check it out. Check it out. The future is here. Wow. Damn. Ain't that something? Fire banner reads, the future is here. Wow.
لا لا
Breaking news from Lebanon. The capital, Beirut, has been hit by a massive explosion. Dozens of people are said to be injured, and there are some reports of people trapped under the rubble. The cause of the blast is not yet known. It's caused widespread damage and appears to be centered on the city's port area. It is the wave, the blast wave has turned cars upside down. Absolute devastation in the Lebanese capital. Sadly, a country that is used to explosions, but this is of an entire different magnitude altogether. I'm joined here in the studio by my colleague, Joel Adalroy, to talk about this breaking news story. This is altogether something else. We haven't seen anything like that in Lebanon in recent contemporary times.
And these pictures we've been seeing are just incredible, and lots of people have been sharing them on social media that have been captured from the city. You see a massive explosion, a huge white cloud, and then there's another cloud inside that seems to be of a different color, red and so forth. And if you look closely at some of these images, you can see what appears to be flashes inside those clouds. And what we're hearing from some of the state media reports is this could have been involved, there could have been fireworks involved. There's some suggestion that it may have taken place in an area where fireworks were stored. But of course, all of this is conjecture. It has only happened in the last half hour, and we're still just trying to find out what's going on there. And also, we have no idea how many people may or may not be injured in this, but an explosion of that magnitude, you would have to assume that there has to be somebody has been hurt as a result of this.
And as you rightly point out, Joel, we can't rule anything out at this point. It does appear that the blast happened in the port area of the Lebanese capital. Some are presuming that this could have been an industrial accident. Again, I want to caution our viewers as well. We just don't know yet. This is still a very fluid situation. And I want to point out that you're watching live pictures from the area. I mean, an absolute massive explosion. And it comes just at such a terrible time for the country. Its economy in doldrums, protests happening since months. And, well, we just are left to wonder what's going on in the minds of the Lebanese as, again, sadly, they have to deal with this explosion.
So some more of what we're hearing from people on social media who were there in the city. There may have been at least 2 explosions that have been heard across the city. We know that the blast knocked windows out as far as 10 kilometers away from the area where it happened, which again was in the Port District of the city. So 10 kilometers away, people's windows were broken, and we can see cars overturned on the road, and it's just sending plumes of smoke up into the sky. And as you said, Leila, this is a city that's certainly known its share of trouble, and you would expect that the people there, they well, look at these images. They're just really quite incredible, aren't they?
Billowing smoke, billowing there from what we presume is the port area. There are live pictures that we're showing you, mangled buildings as well. We're going to keep track of the story. You're going to keep track on this breaking news story for us. And well, now we're getting reports of dozens of people injured, which is, of course, something that could be expected, seeing from the devastation that we're seeing right now. Joel Dalroy, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for bringing us the very latest. Do come back, please, to fill us in on the developments there.
Hello, very good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Charlie State and Louise Minchin.
Our headlines today. At least 78 people dead and 4,000 injured in a huge explosion in the Lebanese capital, Beirut.
The blast, which shook the entire city, began with a fire at a warehouse which housed thousands of tons of ammonium nitrate.
We'll be live in Beirut throughout the morning with the latest on the desperate search for more survivors.
The Children's Commissioner for England calls for the government to prioritise reopening schools over pubs in any future lockdowns.
Good morning. New car sales were up 11%.
A step that they would be taking in the future. But I think the immediate clear message is we're coming after your guns.
Yeah, well, that is this
We're
message.
taking down the NRA. and you will have no one to protect you, and then we're coming to your house.
Like they did to the McCloskeys.
Yes, we're coming to your house to get you and your guns. That's what the left is saying today. They're not hiding it anymore. They're clearly telling us this is a communist revolution. This is it is a Marxist movement to overthrow the constitutional republic of the United States of America. Make no mistake about it.
You're absolutely
The revolution is on.
And they're making it impossible to coexist. If you're a Republican, so let's say you're just someone who believes in the Constitution in New York. You believe you have a right to defend yourself with a firearm. Well, guess what? New York disagrees. New York is about to get rid of an advocacy group, but they're also looking right at your safe, looking at your pocket.
It's not just New York State. Again, they're using the New York State Attorney General to destroy the entire NRA, not just for the state of New York, but for the United States of America.
Well, there's also a filing in Washington, D.C. They're also filing, Attorney General in Washington, D.C. did the similar lawsuit, the exact same action against
So the NRA's got to defend itself from 2 lawsuits now, which one purpose is to financially bankrupt it.
Which they reportedly already were on the edge of going bankrupt. About 2 years ago, there was an argument that the corporate partners were dropping out over the David Hogg Marxist youth.
So the left has been targeting the NRA for a number of years and getting financial institutions to drop their accounts. I've read in the past that Wall Street investment houses have closed the NRA accounts.
Haven't we heard some rumblings about banks possibly shutting off, the bank accounts of the NRA? Remember that story from a couple years back?
Of course, we've seen banks do that to gun dealers, federally licensed gun dealers. The communist revolution went to a new level today. It's out in your face today. They're coming. They're telling you, we're coming after you. We're coming to your house. We're coming for your firearms. We're going to do what the left said today is we're going to dissolve the National Rifle Association, get them out of the way, and then we're coming to your house.
But really, Rick, is this such a good move for them, or is this really a bad move for them?
Well, that's a good question, Doc. So let's take a look at, I'm going to put up, I think this is a video for number 3B. Edward, I'm going to let you set this up. Professor Alan Lichtman. This is a well-known college professor who has a track record of accurately predicting the victor of U.S. presidential elections.
Yes, for many decades, including the prediction of President Trump winning in 2016. He was a lone man in the field, and what he does, Rick, is he doesn't do it based on polls. He thinks polls are ridiculous. He doesn't think they're actually predictive. He has a set amount of variables, whether a candidate's charismatic, whether he's made a difference while he's in office. He has put out his prediction for the 2020 election, but mind you, this was done before today's major news that the Democrats are coming for everyone's guns.
So Professor Lichtman has a criteria that he looks at every election campaign, and he doesn't look at the polls, but he's looking at certain conditions in the country.
Right.
And if it's going a certain direction, he knows that the incumbent is going to win. If it's going another direction, he knows the challenger is going to win. And what did he say earlier this week?
He said President Trump's going to lose. He said Joe Biden was going to win. That's his call for the 2020
Professor
election.
Lichtman earlier this week officially called the election, and he's accurately predicted every election for how many years?
I'd say at least 30 years.
30 years. And so earlier this week, Professor Lichtman said Joe Biden is going to win the election. Unless what?
Unless there is an act of God or something of major significance that shifts any one of the 3 variables he talked about. Charisma, shifting the voter base to actually get excited about the candidate, but more so if President Trump was able to find an issue that would allow him to talk to the majority of America. the middle group that elected him in 2016.
And we have video of him making this prediction?
Yes, actually it's partly a package the New York Times put together explaining the keys, and you'll see the professor explaining each of the parts and giving his prediction.
Okay, let's watch it.
Alan Lichtman
is the Nostradamus of presidential elections. He's accurately predicted them for 4 decades. Yes, even that one.
Donald Trump sent me a note. Congrats, Professor. Good call, in his big Sharpie letters.
Now, Alan's ready to tell us who will win in 2020. What do Alan's 13 keys predict for 2020?
And remember, an answer of true always favors the re-election of the White House party. If 6 or more of the keys are false, you get a political earthquake.
Okay, number 1. The White House party gained House seats between midterm elections.
Republicans lost the U.S. House midterms in 2018, so false.
Number 2, there is no primary contest for the White House party.
No Republicans challenged Trump for his renomination, so true.
Number 3, the incumbency key. The sitting president is running for re-election.
Doesn't look like he's stepping down, so true.
4, there's no third-party challenger.
Despite claims by Kanye West to be running, this is a 2-party race.
This is looking pretty good for Trump so far. Number 5, the short-term economy is strong.
The pandemic has pushed the economy into recession. False.
6, long-term economic growth during this presidential term has been as good as the past 2 terms.
The pandemic has caused such negative GDP growth in 2020 that the key has turned false.
Number 7, the White House has made major changes to national policy.
Through his big tax cut, but mostly through his executive orders, Trump has fundamentally changed the policies of the Obama era, so true.
Number 8, there is no social unrest during the term.
There has been considerable social unrest on the streets with enough violence to threaten the social order, so false.
Number 9, the White House is untainted by scandal.
My favorite key. As I predicted, Trump was impeached. Plus, he has plenty of other scandals, so false.
Number 10, the White House has no major foreign or military failures abroad.
We've had some very difficult moments with Donald Trump, but so far, true.
11, the White House has a major success abroad.
While Trump hasn't had any big, splashy failures, he hasn't had any major successes either, so false.
12, the incumbent party candidate is charismatic.
Donald Trump is a great showman, but he only appeals to a narrow slice of the American people, and as a result, false.
13, the challenger is uncharismatic.
Biden is a decent, empathetic person, but he's not inspirational or charismatic. So true.
That means
the keys predict that Trump will lose the White House.
That's Alan Lichtman's prediction. And Alan Lichtman is always right.
Don't just take my word for it. There are forces at play outside the keys. Voter suppression, Russian meddling. It's up to you, the voter, to decide the future of our democracy. So get out and vote. Vote in person. Vote by mail. As Abraham Lincoln said, the best way to predict the future is to choose it.
All right. I would have said up until yesterday that Professor Lichtman is accurate again. That just being, an honest observer, not taking sides. I've watched a lot of elections in my lifetime, and I would have to say, up until yesterday, Professor Lichtman was correct. Joe Biden would win the election. Today, after what New York State Attorney General Letitia James did today, It completely changed. The Democrats overplayed their hand. They've told every patriot in America, this is a communist revolution. Stand up, defend your nation. That's what I'm hearing today. This is beyond politics today, beyond the election. This is a Marxist communist revolution in your face, coming for you. And when they strip our firearms from us, they have us in total surrender. The election changed today. The Democrats overplayed their hand.
Yes.
My attitude right now about Donald Trump, despite everything I don't like about him and his administration, right now today is you have to vote for Donald Trump to stop the communist revolution. That's where I'm at today, because they just told me, we're coming for you. We're going to dismantle everything you conservatives cherish. We're going to take it apart. We're going to rip this country to pieces. And we're coming to your homes.
Yes.
Because we see the way that the communist Democrats are acting right now while we're armed.
Wow, just think.
Just look at what the way they're behaving right now while the American people are armed. How will they behave when we're disarmed? They'll act like Stalin.
Like a conquering army.
Yes. So it changed today. It absolutely changed today. At this point, and it's beyond the election. Donald Trump is not my savior. He's not my political savior. But this revolution must be stopped. And the election is just one. The election is just one part of stopping the communist revolution. If you think just because you can win the election, you've stopped a Marxist revolution, you're naive about history. You don't understand history, because they're going to continue after the election. If they win, they continue. If they lose, they continue. The only thing we can do as patriots is crush the revolution. It must be crushed. Now, something just happened a few hours ago. General Michael Flynn published a letter to the American people. And I have not personally read it yet. Edward read a few lines to me before we went live with this True News Godcast. And so do we have the text, the entire text?
We have the article to show on screen. We have the text to share. If you would like to read it, you want me to read it?
No, you read it. Go ahead. All right. I'll tell you, Doc, do you have it?
I have it as well.
All right, let's let Doc read it, okay?
So this is from General Flynn. This is his op-ed that's published today, about 12 noon today, in the Western Journal magazine. So it's not someone else claiming to be General Flynn or anything like that. This is General Michael Flynn. This is what he wrote in Western Journal today. He said, "We are witnessing a vicious assault by enemies of all that is good, and our president is having to act in ways unprecedented in decades, maybe centuries. The biblical nature of good versus evil cannot be discounted as we examine what is happening on the streets of America. It's Marxism in the form of Antifa and the Black Lives Matter movement versus our very capable and very underappreciated law enforcement professionals, the vast majority of whom are fighting to provide us safe and secure homes, streets, and communities. When the destiny of the United States is at stake, and it is, the very future of the entire world is threatened. As Christians, shouldn't we act? We recognize that divine providence is the ultimate judge of our destiny. Achieving our destiny as a freedom-loving nation, providence compels not disrespect or disregard.
I ain't even trying to hear all that yang, that garbage ass shit. Some of it is good, for the most part. You know what I'm saying? everyone's pretty much on their own. Like, cause at the end of the day, I'm telling you, I told you they was gonna kill each other in these motherfucking streets. Y'all not trying to hear me. When election day come, you will motherfucking see blood. They will fucking, white people will kill each other in the middle of the streets. Let's see. French Revolution. Can't make this shit up. I don't know who the fuck y'all take me for. Shit. Who y'all take me for? Who y'all be out there mocking and scoffing, playing and shit. Ain't nobody fucking playing with y'all out here. Shit. Taking motherfucking people talking points, trying to twist that shit around. And meanwhile, motherfucking shit is in mayhem. Motherfuckers just scrutinizing shit instead of saving motherfuckers. They just leading motherfuckers down cliffs. Not, you know what? People are so stupid though on this motherfucking internet, because they sit here and they just let the motherfucking, they let anybody tell them any motherfucking thing. You know, Dr. Feelgood motherfuckers. So you gotta be as a Dr. Feelgood type of brother or a summer mom, you know. And these honkies too. Boy, they get on here playing church. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. They be the first ones to play church. Aha! They be on it, boo. They don't need your help. They'll tell you that they're teaching you your shit. They took over your shit too. Your history, your ancestor history. And meanwhile, the Gentiles, they know the story in there. Don't get it fucked up. They know that shit better than you. They always did. They got rich off this shit. I don't give a fuck. They done got rich. Okay? And Rick Wiles know what it is too. Especially that motherfucker got rich. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he be trying to set the stage and shit. Like, whatever he predict, you know what I'm saying, it's supposed to be that, yada yada, wee. But I don't see all that shit neither. I know one thing. You see shit burning everywhere, like I motherfucker said. Listen, I'd rather see brimstone than to see a motherfucker try to take what? You know what I'm saying? I'd rather see motherfucking fire falling everywhere than to be in the care of those type of motherfuckers. See, at this point, can't even play with white people at all. At all. You know? And now, one thing about white people, they can easily just be white. Because that's what they're going to be at the end of the day. White. You know what I'm saying? And black people want to be white. But you're not going to be white. You're not ever going to be white. You're going to always be black in your eyes. Period. And I wish y'all get that shit through y'all motherfucking heads. And when shit hit the fan, trust me, they will kill each other out there. Could be the white on white crime this time. I swear to everything I love. You see black love struggling, but globally, we'll find our way. One mind, one spirit. And then when motherfuckers realize that, you know, all along, you know, they were coming for you. You too. All y'all. They come for the NRA. They came for everybody. And that's what y'all played with that motherfucking, y'all played with that shit like it was nothing. Y'all did that little left show, the left wasn't, you dealing with some fucking psychopaths. You know, that wasn't good enough, you know. Was not good enough. And for what it's worth, you know, they be the first one out there about, oh, Trump saved the children, Trump saved the children. All I know is that this earth right here is getting ready to burn. Burn to the motherfucking ground. And fire finna fall on everybody out this motherfucker. Cause everybody's so damn evil. And don't think for one's dumb celebrities, they not underneath their bunkers and shit, you know? Living their best lives. Well, some of them. I know one thing. If Biden win, that'll be fucked up. I hate all this shit. I hate politics. I hate the left. I hate the right. I hate how everything. I just hate it all. I hate it all. And it's like, just like I say, they plan on coming for your gun, dragging you out your house. You know what I'm saying? Taking your children, you know. But I don't see another, what you call it. I don't see that. Because, honestly, it's going to be a whole nother, it's going to be crazy, y'all. It's going to be crazy. Yeah. But I know the Most High will shorten the days for the elect's sake. It's always going to be about the elect. For the elect's sake, the days shall be shorter. So, they out here doing the most. They out here, you know, doing the most on both ends, you know. And now, everybody is going to learn the hard way. For playing and playing and playing. And so y'all can see that I'm not tripping. Y'all see what I see. Boy, I'll tell you. No. Seriously, like, what in the hell in the world? Can't make this stuff up. Damn, yo. This shit right here is crazy. Hold up. Let me go and get this shit for real. This shit right here is crazy right here. Oh my goodness. I almost lost it. Tell me he is not crazy. He do got a point there, though. That was one of the questions that these hunkies was insinuating, like, but the NRA is what? The gun seller, like, the biggest, I don't know. Like, but they've been, I don't know, they've been doing the most with that. They, I know they was gonna come for that. This food is something else. That's deep. Wow. That's deep. Well, it is what it is. I mean, like, come on, for real. Like, can they just even, like, come and get your guns? Like, I don't think they can actually do that. Like, that's crazy. That's the whole reason of owning guns. So that's funny. It looked like him too. But I don't know. That's crazy. But anyway, I just had to, you know, come on here real quick and just share some intel again, because I want folks to know that, like, this is serious stuff, you know. Like, I mean, like, beyond serious. This is serious stuff. Like, for real, for real. I can't even stress this enough. Like, even the thought of Joe Biden winning, that would be so fucked up. What's up, Randy? Joe Biden, that shit would be like crazy. And it's just like pedophiles foaming out the mouth. Like, they just want to get away with everything. And it's fucked up because it's like, where do we go from here, you know? In this dying ass world. So the only thing is, you know, let the fire burn over the earth, you know? And that's why this next video, I'm going to keep playing it, because I think it's the most important video on the face of the earth. And I know that the Most High is in control of everything. Don't ever get me twisted. Most High got something greater for them. Like some hot fire, you know? And yes, some burning fire. So, but this is the wave right here. You know, I believe that they cannot get away or escape from this. You know, they won't be able to.
You could see maybe like 2/3 of it.
And I knew that it was just way, way bigger than the earth. And it was really close. Like, I could see all of the squirrely lines, everything.
Stripes. Like, it was just striped. It was like these red and cloudy looking stripes. So this is pretty much really, really close to what that planet looked like. I want to say that I don't remember having this like bluish tint here or this yellowy tint. It was mostly this color and this color. That's what the planet looked like.
And in the sky I saw a shield, and it began to flicker.
And the planet was blinking in and blinking out, you know. And I'm like, is somebody playing games?
This thing was moving. It was moving from east to west. As a fact, it was moving from east to west because my brother's windows face east and south. So the east window is when I first saw it. So it kept moving. It was moving west, so I had to move to the south window so that I could move it, so I could watch it move across over to the west.
It looked like a planet had appeared in the center of the earth, but from wherever you was in the earth, everybody could see this planet.
Oh my gosh, what I saw move in front of my window was this massive planet looking like thing.
I could see a red planet, and the red planet was approaching, and it was very large. It scared me because it looked like it was about to hit us. It was so close, and I felt fear. Like, what is going on? Like, that planet is right there. Like, it took up almost the whole sky.
I see this huge planet, and it was like almost half. It took up almost half the sky, maybe like 1/3 of the sky.
And we're talking humongous, like it's covering the entire sky.
Yeah, it was very, very large. It basically took up a large part of the sky. You could see it very, very clearly.
Black and red planet.
It was very dark. It was black and red.
This black and red planet, the black on this planet was so black, it looked like you could stick your hand through it.
When I looked out the window, I looked up, and I seen this large, big fiery planet. It had craters in it, and it was on fire.
I could see the ribbons of fire that are jumping off of this planet.
It was like orange red, but it was like smoking hot.
And I just seen this big old fiery planet.
But you could see the lava and stuff.
We started getting hot, like really hot, and I remember my shoulders burning, and it was almost like I could feel, feel the heat on me, that my shoulder was actually really hot, like something that you would move away from.
I could feel the heat emanating from it.
And I could hear the crackling of like a fireplace, kind of, but way more severe and intense.
I'm looking at it, it's way up in the sky.
And it came over our heads.
And it's pretty much on us. It's not even coming towards us, it's on us.
Part of it was like shadowed, and on the top right part of it, you could see just a little tiny sliver of the sun peeking through. And so that's why we were getting a little bit of light, but it was covering up most of the sun.
It covered the sun.
It keeps eclipsing the sun. And as it does this, the day is getting dimmer and dimmer. It's volcanic, and the flames are bright red with fire dancing. I felt like I was being pulled towards this planet, but not so much in a physical sense, but more like in a spiritual sense. I felt like my soul was being lifted from my body towards the sky.
This is Raptor News, and God has sent the world a message through these dreams. He sent you messages through the messengers. He also sent you messages through the scriptures. We're going to read a couple of those scriptures. Revelation 6:8. And I looked and beheld a pale horse. It is the sickness from this dust cloud that comes with the planet. And his name that sat on it was Death, and it caused sepsis and death. And hell followed with him, and it is the literal hell coming down to this earth. Men's hearts failing them at what's coming down on this earth. They say, don't look up in the sky, Raptor News. Don't look at the planets. Don't look at the stars. Don't look at this. We need to look at it, because that's what we waiting on. God's kingdom coming, and that's a part of the system. Jeremiah 4:7. The lion has come up from his thicket. So this thing lays in wait in the northwest and the northeast and the southwest corner of this world. It moves from location to location, but it's around those areas. It says in Isaiah 28:18, when the overflowing scourge shall pass over your heads. So if you heard in the dreams that this thing came right over our heads, and people start burning up, then you shall be trodden down by it. It's going to rain brimstones on you. From the time that it goes forth, it shall take you. The woman said in the end she was lifted up by this thing. Another man said before in another video I said that he was lifted up and taken to the lake of fire. For morning by morning shall it pass over. By day and by night. The understanding of this message, says the scriptures, will bring sheer terror. I will break the pride of your power, Leviticus 26:19. And I will make your heaven as iron. It is an iron planet. Everybody understand? And then we're going to end Revelations 21:8. But the fearful, unbelieving, and abominable, the murderers and whoremongers, all you sinners, sorcerers, idolaters, and all liars, all these camps, all these preachers preaching that falsehood, shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstones. So it says that the earth shall be thrown into the lake of fire. The lake of fire is on that planet. Scientists and everybody else will tell you that that planet is going to go up underneath this planet, and we're going to get caught in its debris tail, and it's going to rain down brimstones on this earth for 1 hour. And then it says right in the scriptures that Babylon will be destroyed in 1 hour. Get your crap together. I'm talking about today. or else you're gonna burn on that planet. This is Rap the News.
Period. I'm just like, that's what I look forward to. You know what I'm saying? As you can see, this shit is just falling out. They falling off. They divided. You know what I'm saying? They motherfucking divided. Oh, and you know something? I've been meaning to play this shit right real quick. This is what I want to play. Oh my goodness. Hold up. Don't even get me started. Hold up. Give me a couple of seconds. Oh my goodness. Because this right here is going to be mind-blowing. I want y'all to see how they're going to go above and beyond to convince you to put your children in jeopardy. Watch this. There's one that's going to play like they, help.
These and sedans at the Hyundai Epic Summer.
There's going to be some that's going to be acting like they're helping the situation. Then there's going to be some that's going to be exposing.
Mr. President, you are right, and I hope you will trust your instincts. America is not meant to be shut down, and we have to reopen schools this fall. I've been in touch with almost 1,000 doctors from around the country. I helped Dr. Simone Gold spearhead a letter to you signed by 800 physicians and surgeons who talked about the side effects of the lockdowns. I've done a second letter with over 150 doctors, 240 nurses, 330 educators, 70 national groups, and thousands of parents and concerned Americans who want to see schools reopened. Reopening schools is going to stabilize our society. I think it's the number one most important thing we can do to stabilize our society from top to bottom. Whether it is in a local community, just reestablishing calendars, which churches, nonprofit groups, traffic patterns, people who don't have children care about the calendar for schools. Kindergartners and elementary school students simply cannot learn looking at a Zoom screen. If they could, we wouldn't need schools in the first place. We could just plop them in front of a television. The last place in the world a middle school student needs to be is online, unsupervised by adults. They bully each other when they're in front of teachers. You can't even imagine what's going on with social media right now. Young adults and high school students are losing hope and optimism for the future. And in February, they had so much. And now we turn on the television and we can see the destruction that lack of hope and optimism is causing. Employers have to rebuild their companies. They need employees at 110% to be able to do that. We did everything we could to flatten this curve, and we have to roll up our sleeves now and rebuild our companies. But we can't do that when employees are dividing their time between taking care of their children indefinitely for who knows how long and trying to get their job done. I have one employee who has 5 children. His wife is a dental hygienist. I'm granting him as much grace as I possibly can.
Chief epidemiologist, how are you doing? How are things going? He said, well, we're content with our results. Please extrapolate, they ask him. He says, well, our nursing homes weren't protected well. They're very large compared to our Nordic neighbor. They're very large. They had some hygiene issues. They had rampant 50 to 60% death rate came from those in the elderly centers. So if you decrease that, it's down to 2,500. And then Norway, which is right next door, is 5 million, half the size. They had much less death rate, but they also have less immunity. So 1 to 2% immunity versus about 20% immunity. So guess what happens during cold and flu when this starts up again? And you have a nation that has immunity and a nation that has no immunity. You don't have to be a scientist to know one nation is better prepared than the other. Also, they didn't have a free-falling economy. There's a public health, there's medical problems that arise when you shut down. People say it's just financial. Au contraire, I have to say to that. Let's talk about the 600% increase in suicide reportings. Let's talk about the spousal abuse. Let's talk about alcoholism. I have firsthand cases of suicide in my area. I have firsthand cases of people who are going into a bad depression. These are not just me. I've talked to ER physicians around the country that said public health crisis secondary to financial lockdown. This is not financial, this is medical. So you can't just say that it's a financial issue. And when I look at Norway and I say kids are in school, restaurants are open, economy is not in free fall, I think that is a sustainable model. When you ask Anders Tegnell, how are you guys doing? He goes, we're in a sustainable model. He goes, the U.S. pulled it back down to an unsustainable, impractical model that you can't do. We can do this for years. Can you?
And they want to shut down America again, which again, it seems a common theme here, if I were to kind of summarize, is that we've been deceived and we are continually being deceived. There seems to be a broader totalitarian agenda at play, and that there is a solution that actually no one wants to talk about, right?
I think one thing that, the overall problem to this approach is we are, it's a strategy problem where we're locking down everyone. We want masks on everyone. And we're kind of forgetting that the fatality rate in children that go to schools, in people under 45, people under 60, is extremely low. This is not a universal strategy for everyone. There's no reason to destroy the youth's lives, to destroy the economy, to destroy businesses when this affects a small percentage of the population. That should be the focus, that we made that mistake back in March with nursing homes. We didn't focus on the most vulnerable people. And that's, I think, what we're still doing, is we're not focusing on the most vulnerable people. We're worried about the 22-year-old who's walking down the street without a mask on. That's who we're yelling at right now. Okay? And so this is a misdirection on appropriate resources and energy to focus on those older patients, those people that maybe should be on hydroxychloroquine, the ones that maybe should have guidance, the right guidance that's different from someone who is younger. And it's a total messaging problem, I think.
Into March, I realized that locking down wasn't necessary. In fact, I was so naive at the time. I had no idea. I thought I would call a few people. I had some connections with the medical community, pretty extensive actually, in my state, and I thought I could call around and let people know, like, hey, we've got a strategy here. It's not bad. We can prophylax, and we could use hydroxychloroquine as a first-line therapy. We don't need to lock down. We can protect our elderly with prophylaxis, really low doses. And I actually thought that was actually going to be well received. Instead, I was told to go home and to go home and don't use the personal protective equipment because I was just wasting resources. And I literally was on the phone. I won't say who it was, but a fairly high-up person in our society in Texas on one of the boards. And I told him, I said, how old are you? He said, I'm 40-something. I said, look, I've been through the AIDS epidemic, okay? We didn't know if we touched the patients what was going to happen. And I go, I've been through that pandemic itself was very eye-opening for me. I was very scared. I was a young doc, and I didn't go home. I went to work. I'm going to see patients. I told them right then, I said, look, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but as far as I'm concerned, you're a coward. You go home. I said, I'm not going home. I'm going to work. I go, I've done 6 years in the ER, 100, 200 hours a month. I've been on a bunch of trauma teams. I'm not going home. I'm going to see patients. So that turned into short visits with some of my friends, some of my patients who would call me knowing that I had talked to them about this disease, and I ended up treating the disease. And then I got on a Facebook Live video that in about 2 hours reached 100,000 people. And I saw it and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get some repercussions. Sure enough, I did. The board came calling and they said, you said that hydroxychloroquine works and you're basically a public menace. And we want to know who you treated. You said at the time, it was really early on, I said I treated 3 patients. And I had to provide all the records, all the information. I was very intimidated, as you might imagine, because, I have to practice. I have to feed my family. I love what I'm doing, but, I'm not independently wealthy. I was a little bit afraid. I really was. That lasted about a day. At that point, again, as Dr. Gold said, we've got to do the right thing for the patients. And at the time, I wrote a bunch of letters saying, I'm not going to let my patients get on vents and ECMO. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to allow it to happen. I'm going to treat them. I don't care. Well, suffice it to say, I got reprimanded. I'm still in a process of negotiation with that whole thing. But as Dr. Armstrong said, I'm really not afraid. I know I'm doing the right thing. I've treated a number of patients. I won't tell you how many, because then I'll probably have to provide records for all that. So for the purposes of this statement, I'm going to say I treated 3. Okay? So the fear of reprisal is the reason why we're in this place right now. Docs don't want to do this. There's a fear of reprisal. I was very worried about it, and I can tell you all the people who believe in this medication, who believe in early treatment, feel the same way. They're really scared to go forward and treat patients because they don't want to lose their medical license, and that's a big deal. So the intimidation is amazing.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Things have changed so fast.
Oh no, Tucker, you gotta go. Get the fuck on, bitch. Yeah, y'all have a forecast. Doctors, please, or step the fuck down and get the fuck on, motherfuckers. Y'all so full of shit. Like I said, down the line, they will go down in memory for being murderers. And either doing the most or not doing nothing. These bitches will be guilty. Okay? But they would have to live with that. There's nobody problem but their own fucking guilty conscience that can eat them up for the rest of their life. And karma. You know. Cause, like I said, look at what they got out of all of this. Nothing. They're suffocating right now. They thought that $25,000 per person per chip into implementing this, and each head is $25,000. So it was getting paid with this shit. You know, that stimulus check is for them. Welcome for us. They only gave us $1,200 to shut us the fuck up. But that's only people who file income tax. Well, that's for side people, but my man. They want you to beg for you. They want you to beg for that universal income shit. Ain't nobody want no fucking universal nothing. However, though, these hideous motherfuckers are so evil. And that's why brimstone must rain on these motherfuckers. Brimstone will rain on these motherfuckers like nobody's business. Joe Biden, all the motherfuckers. Period. And buildings, all that. Every motherfucking media rights is coming after. They just falling everywhere. You know, they don't have a time or a fucking appointment. They will see you there. You know. Motherfuckers, when you are the motherfucker in the movie, that character, in the scary part, baby. Carolina, run. Run, Forrest. Run. Carolina, run. Bitch, don't come to the light. Run. That's just the way it is. You know, but now they want your guns. And it's gonna be crazy out here because these Democrats are foaming out the mouth for blood. For blood. Yep. They yearn for World War III. Like nobody's business. At least, you know, and this next time when you don't vote, Either way you vote, you fucked. Either anyone you fucked. You know? So, why come in an agreement with your own demise? You know? People say, well, if you don't vote, then don't complain. How many people voted and voted and voted a lifetime and nothing never happened? Same shit. Look at it from there. The only thing you come in an agreement with them is to have dominion over you. And I always say this shit. You know? And at some point, you have to come out of prison in your mind. And these motherfucking Democrats, yep, it's gonna be crazy. Because it's so embedded in these Trump supporters' heads. Oh, you're gonna see them kill each other. Gotta tell black folks, stay the fuck home on that day. Don't bother. Stay put. Because they're gonna kill each other. What? Huh? You have no idea. But I'm letting you know right now. Because it is gonna be